Welcome. See, this time again with the countdown, I'm not like surprised that the show started. Usually I'm like again looking around or something.
What?
I'm ready. Like I'm good to go.
Good job. I was not
Yeah.
prepared. It was only you saying welcome that made me pay attention again, so
Well, you were obviously not paying attention to the
I
screen.
was obviously not, you're right.
Well, welcome to the Darkfriend Social. We had a week off last week. We're back. Yay.
Woo!
So we're gonna get to I think a lot of fun stuff today. It's odd because I asked Sarah to come join. And first of all, I guess let me introduce my guest. This is Sarah from WhatSeries.com. Sarah, tell them who the hell you are and what you do.
Is there anybody watching at this point that doesn't know who I
Maybe,
am?
right? Maybe somebody
Uh,
watching later.
you're right, you're right. I am part of a team that runs the website WhatSeries.com, and we look for TV show news about the specifically Wheel of Time TV show
Yeah.
news. So,
So not just TV show news in
yes.
general, but like
No, we do not have time for that.
so if I was asking you like about the Law and Order reboot, you really can't.
I would have not a clue what you're talking
Okay.
about.
But well, and it's interesting because I asked Sarah Sarah was going to come on last week potentially, but now is here this week. And what's crazy is there isn't actually a ton of news, which is actually some of the news that we're going to talk about. So wrap your head around that.
The
Um
news is that there is no news.
yeah, there actually is some stuff to talk
A little
about,
bit.
but and we and I Sarah will be releasing some breaking Wheel of Time news that has not been heard yet before that will rock
Uh,
you to your core later
oh
in this
yeah.
episode. Actually, I actually you downplayed it. There is some actual decent news.
It's
Th-
interesting.
This is actually pretty interesting stuff. So we're gonna get to talking about that. I want to get a few things out of the way as we get started here, first and foremost. So first of all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that fun stuff. That's always helpful. I will give you guys an update. I'm hoping that tomorrow morning, but if not tomorrow morning, then the following day, you all are going to get a very long lore related video that was asked for by a lot of people. I tweeted out a little poll about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, asking what people wanted to see, and the winner of that poll was the story of Arthur Hawkwing. So I've done like a fairly long lore video I'm fairly proud of. So hopefully for those of you who keep clamoring for more lore videos, here you go. Um, I did not do a weekly Wheel of Time news this week, just primarily because there wasn't that much that I felt like there was to talk about. So, um, but I do want to mention one thing that is coming up that we are now about a week, or I'm sorry, a month and a week away from. Sarah, do you know what that is?
I wonder, could
What
it
could
possibly be a convention?
yes, I think for I guess yes, there's a convention coming up. It's called Jordan Con, if you've never heard of it. I can't wait. I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun to see everybody again. I am interested if you are in the actually hold on. I'm gonna pull a dusty wheel and I'm gonna throw up a poll, and hopefully it won't be a yes or no question here.
Make it as bad as possible.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Which conventions are you attending? Yes or no? Well, actually, no, because I was about to make a shitty poll. I was gonna say which conventions are you attending, and then that you can't pick a bunch.
Yeah, you can't pick all of the well, I
So
guess you could do an all of the above option, but you can't like do multiple choice.
that's a good idea. See, this is what you're here for.
That's what I'm here for, to help you with your polls.
Okay, here we go. Of course, it won't let me do other ones like Malkiricon because I can't do that many options. Damn it.
Well, that's just rude.
It is actually. Okay. So I am asking my community, as it puts it, which conventions are you attending? So I will obviously be at both JordanCon and WatCon. I believe Sarah, you will as well, which is going to be a lot of
Yes.
fun. But JordanCon is the one that is coming up here very shortly, which I'm excited for. I'm on a
Yeah.
panel.
Feels like
And
it was just yesterday.
it
And I
really
guess it
does,
wasn't a full year ago, so that's probably why it feels like it wasn't
right?
that long ago.
Well, and like it's this will be more of a real Jordan Con because I like a lot of the COVID restrictions are kind of disappearing a little bit, and I think I knock on wood that we're over the hump a little bit on some of that, so that there's actually going to be a lot more people there. I think there's going to be about double the number of people as we're at the last one, which is
Mhm.
going to be a lot of fun. So I am super, super excited for Jordan Con. I plan on covering it a little different too. I'm going to do like a vlog, I think, for the entire time, and I'm going to interview people, and we'll see
Oh,
what
that's
that.
fun. Well,
Yeah.
no one will have trouble identifying you to come and be in your vlog. So,
Or what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
well, you could wear a wig, then nobody would know.
Nobody would know. I would show off a wig, but
Who is the giant man in a wig?
what are you talking
Don't
about?
know.
Wigs? Who does wigs? um. Anyways, yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm on a panel with Jess and Brian. So like we're doing like and it's an
Mhm.
after dark panel. So it's like a 10 o'clock at night panel where we are doing basically the equivalent of Fuck Mary Kill, but with Wheel of Time characters.
Oh God,
Yeah, right? How did
I
I
love
get
it.
into this? How did I
I'm
get into
there.
this panel? I don't
I'm
know.
already there.
But
Excited.
little late night. So, but yes, I am quite noticeable. I cannot hide very well. I'm not good at hiding. Um but yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for WatCon, which is coming up in the summer. So we're gonna have just lots and lots of cons to go to. I'm actually gonna try to make it out to Malkiri Con in Manchester as well if I can get out there.
Fun.
It's a good excuse to go back to England. So
I would love to do that. Unfortunately, it did not work out this
mm,
year, but
didn't
maybe next year.
well, and I'm not sure I can go yet, but I'm gonna do my darndest to be there. So it was a lot of fun. It was actually kind of fun because when we were in London, so for the premiere, they had us like they took us on this little trip. So like one of our scheduled events was to go to the Tower of London, right? And while we were there, they were gonna do this had nothing to do with us. We just kind of went there because Amazon had a connection, but like they were doing one of like the fan screenings that they did all over the country here. So this was like the day after they did the big premiere. They did a fan screening at the Tower of London, and
That's right.
we were going to the Tower of London on like a little tour because that was like our handlers were taking us on a tour. And like while we're walking up to the Tower of London, I hear people yelling, "Is that Nae'Blis? Is that the innkeeper?" Like screaming. And so of course that was in their British
Uh,
accents. And so there's
that's
actually like a
awesome.
couple of pictures up of like random people we ran into in London that were like, "I know you," which was kind of
That's
cool.
awesome.
So
You're a celebrity now,
oh yeah, totally. Huge celebrity.
on that Amazon payroll. Am I right?
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. Duh. Uh all right, let's talk a little bit about the Wheel of Time. So, Sarah, are you ready to drop some breaking
You have really got to
crazy
stop hyping this up.
this news will rock people to their core. Okay? Like I don't know
Um,
if everybody grab your seat, hold on, like make sure you're not going to fall out of your chair, any of that. This news that Sarah is about to bring us will rock your world. So, Sarah,
it's true.
now that I've properly set
All
you
right.
up, here
Well,
we
the
go.
news is that Nae'Blis himself has been cast as Lanfear.
That is
You
incorrect.
heard it here first, folks.
That is a lie. That is a
Okay, I'm
lie.
kidding.
If that was
Um,
true, if that was true, Matt would never talk to me again.
you're right. You're right. You
So,
could wear a wig and then it'd be fine.
well, again, if people want to see wigs, they know what they got to do.
They gotta
But
pay.
they got to pay. But yeah. So
But in all
what?
seriousness,
Yeah.
we have a small amount of news about the Morocco filming. We're gonna be doing hopefully another write up soon-ish if we have enough to warrant a full article, because it's just kind of bits and pieces right now. But we have a couple of different sources that indicate that they will be filming in Morocco for like 2 months. So that's quite a bit longer than we thought. Um, we still don't know everywhere they're filming, but it seems like it's probably more than just a couple places that we know of already. So,
Well, and so
yeah,
let's back up here a little bit for people that maybe don't follow as tightly as you and I do, or I should say you do. But so WhatSeries.com broke this a couple weeks back that the show would be filming in Morocco. I am going to butcher the name. How do you pronounce this, by the way?
I believe it is Warzazat.
Warzazat.
Do not
Okay.
quote me.
So, and let me go ahead and share my screen.
I have a link too. I can drop a link in the chat.
You can. Okay. So, well, this is the article. So this is the that's the location here. This is the article on Watt series. Um, but in any case, these areas right here are really cool looking. And you've seen them in Game of Thrones. They were in The Mummy. They were in Gladiator. So it's a pretty famous location. And so Watt series basically dropped that those places we would be filming there. Now, of course, it's very desert-ish. So I think the assumption from me at least, and I don't know if you have a different opinion on this, Sarah, was that they were going to be filming the Aiel there basically. Is that like
I mean, that's kind of the where your mind immediately goes if they're filming in a desert. But
right?
um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm really kind of stumped.
Well, and Rafe did tell us that we would be getting more Aiel than we thought we would. But spending 3 months or 2 months filming in the desert seems like a lot of Aiel, if that is indeed what it will be. I mean, are you in
Right.
agreement?
I mean, yeah, unless they're really, excuse me, unless they're really bringing forward certain plot points from later books. I don't, which I'm not really sure how that would work,
Mhm.
to be honest. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's possible they try to film. They're kind of doing some dream world stuff, like
Yeah.
maybe certain characters are learning to navigate the dream world and meet up with Aiel there. I don't know.
Like I don't know about you, but I'm all for getting more Aiel sooner.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'm not like moving so fast that I really still want to get most of the events of Shadow Rising.
yeah,
Like I think there's later stuff that they can cut with the IO, but I really want that to be fairly
right.
intact.
I mean, I was kind of thinking if they were gonna have Aiel expanded Aiel content in second season, it would be kind of like what they did with Logain, like showing
Mhm.
off-screen stuff that was implied to have happened, but we just never saw. Like them maybe preparing to leave the waste or like whatever, the events leading up to that that sent them to um, towards Tyr in the first place. That type of thing. I don't know.
Well, if you do go to the end of I mean, Rand is staring off into the distance when he's leaving at the end of of season or episode 8, and it
That's
looks
true.
kind of desert-ish.
But then there was that whole season 2 possible description thing that
Mhm.
just completely flipped that on its head. So I'm
If
so
that's real.
confused. If it's real, I'm pretty sure it is, but I don't know. It's not official, not confirmed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
If you had
I
to
don't know.
bet if you had to bet, is this Aiel or no?
Well, I also think it could be multiple things.
Okay.
So I I would say I'd say yeah. I think it's pretty likely that we get at least a couple scenes in the waste. I don't necessarily think that all the Morocco filming is in the waste because they do also have, they've got the film studios there where they're filming, and they've got other terrain that's not just desert. Like this peninsula that they're apparently filming on has got a lot of really pretty coastline, which I don't see being the waste for obvious reasons. But again, we don't know exactly where they're filming there, but the coastline seems like that's kind of all that there is. It's a very, very narrow peninsula.
So do you think it's possible that that could be foam?
Possible.
Because if I'm thinking of like the girl in the wave, that didn't look like lush tropical area right behind her. Like it kind of looked.
Yeah, I want to say they filmed that in the Canary Islands. So yeah, kind of that Mediterranean-ish climate. Yeah.
It is kind of odd that they went to the Canary Islands just to film a little girl getting killed by a wave.
Well, they also filmed the Valdara stuff
Oh, that's true.
there. Yeah.
That's true.
The exterior stuff.
That's true. I'm thinking it could be Falma too. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is that I would be shocked if they spent that long in the waste. That's what's leading me away
Yeah.
from thinking it's the IO waste.
Right. At first I was like, maybe they'll be there for 2 or 3 weeks or something, which would be
Right.
about right for, a couple of long scenes. But and keep in mind too that we know that there are at least 2 directors that seem to be connected with the filming. One of them is the director, why her name suddenly escapes me, Maya something.
Sanaa Hamri
It's not
and
Hamry, and then Maya
Vrillo.
Vervelo something.
Vervelo, yeah.
And we think that she's doing episodes 5 and 6. And we think Sanaa Hamri is doing 3 and 4, and then 7 and 8. And so that is a pretty big range of time that these scenes could potentially be from, which doesn't really help narrow it down. But it is interesting that, they appear to be having stuff that's more part of more than one block.
Yeah, it's such a long, like, we're gonna see at least, I would guess, I'm gonna say minimum 2 episodes because it has to be 2 different blocks, but I would say probably closer to 3 to 4 with the amount of time they're putting into it. Is that fair?
Yeah, like scenes scenes across that many episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
But I'll tell you, the other thing with that is also, though, that we thought filming was gonna be done basically nowish, and it appears that we're going another
Yeah,
2
although they did
months.
wrap in Prague,
Yeah.
which appears to be the main bulk of the filming. And this is another kind of tidbit that someone emailed us about it, but the Moroccan, I don't know if they were closed to everybody or just filming, but they had restrictions on foreigners coming in. And so those were lifted in, I want to say, February. So it's also possible that these Morocco scenes were originally scheduled to film earlier and then had to be pushed back because COVID kind of blew up again and people had to clamp down again. But we don't know. That's pure speculation.
I mean, let's think about this, though, because I think people are, again, always speculating about when is season 2 gonna come out, right? So if we have 2 more months of filming, regardless of the reasons why it was pushed back, all of that, I mean, that puts us obviously into May when filming is finished and completely wrapped, which to me, that does not seem very optimistic to seeing a 2022 release.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and there's that, was it Rafe that made that comment on, oh, there's gonna be, some time between Lord of the Rings and the
right.
second season, which makes it sound like more than just a month or 2. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of leaning towards 2023, and I'm kind of okay with that. I
I
mean,
definitely want them. I don't want it rushed.
absolutely
We
not.
don't want that. I'm also, of course, I'm a little concerned, like, if they end up going the whole way, I mean, Rand's gonna be 40 by the end, so I don't know what
Yep.
they're gonna
I
do
mean,
there,
you're
but
right, though. I mean, that there is a pressure to that, and I do remember, so Rafe, I can't remember whether he said this when we were interviewing him or if it was in a different interview, but he basically said, well, there's a bit of pressure for them to get it out. Um, in the sense that I like Amazon wants it. They want a steady stream of content. Like
Right.
they're not
Which,
looking
makes sense.
yeah, they're not looking for 2-year gaps between their releases. But I do think
Right.
they're trying to navigate this whole Lord of the Rings thing. I think they're trying to navigate all of the other big releases and
Yeah.
um so I don't know, and maybe there's thought to giving a little bit of a gap and people will come back to it. I don't know. If there were I don't know. I'm just speculating all over the place, but I
Yeah.
would not be shocked if we saw a 2023 release.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, I mean, back before COVID happened, when I thought that the first season would come out at the end of 2020,
Right?
and I was clearly very wrong. So I I'm clearly going to be wrong again by hoping it's going to come out at the end of this year. So it's probably going to be next year.
I mean, it's still possible depending
It's
on the release
possible. I
schedule.
feel like if it is going to be out this year, it would be in like the end of December, which I don't know if is a great time to release
Mhm.
a show because of the holidays. Although Witcher
Witcher
did
came
both times.
and it did
So
well in
yeah.
its initial.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually worthy to talk about a little bit. I get to talk about a different website. So one of our new staff writers on thegreatblight.com, Rational Nerd, released an article um, basically chronicling ratings for the Wheel of Time. I don't know if you got a chance to read it at all, but it was really well done and
I did.
researched.
That was yeah, some time went into that. I respect that.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
I'm gonna post that link in the chat. If anybody wants to read this, but in general, it's just on thegreatblight.com. You can head to the main page and you'll see the article. But Wheel of Time did well. I know that's a shocker, right? But it did very, very well. Shocking. Especially for I mean, we already had gotten the news that Wheel of Time broke records as like it was the number one news show of last year on streaming services, which is
Mhm.
I would say impressive because
Pretty
last year was
good. Yeah,
well, that's really good because if you think about that, who were they competing against? They were competing against all of the Marvel shows.
that's true.
Like you had WandaVision was new, Loki was new. Um, I'm
Did
gonna miss
WandaVision come out in 2021?
pretty sure it did.
I haven't watched any of the Marvel shows,
Yeah, I
full
think it was in the
disclosure, so
summer.
I've
I think it
not.
was in the summer, and it like those are big properties. I mean, everybody knows the MCU. So for Wheel of Time um to do well, I think that's a positive. Definitely in terms of streaming. Now, I keep running into people, and I can speak for myself on this, so I will not put words in other people's mouths. People already know how I feel about the first season of the show. Um, but uh, I keep running into people who like will talk about TV shows and they'll be like, "Yeah, you should watch Wheel of Time." And like they'll talk about how good it is and they're not readers.
Well, that's good.
Like I keep running
From
in so
what I've seen, basically everybody that has not known about or but not been familiar with the books at all
Mhm.
was pretty positive about it. I mean, I know that my husband had knew nothing about the series and he was really into it. So, again, of course, that's not universal, but
Yeah.
I think that shows that whether or not some of us book readers liked all the changes that were made, they seem to have worked, at least based on the things that people seem to be picking up on. So,
Well,
we'll
yeah, I'll
see.
tell you what. If we thought we had it bad, just look at what's going on with Lord of the Rings right
Oh
now.
God.
Oh my god. Like
I
it's
knew that would be a dumpster fire, but
well, yes, absolutely. I mean, I think anybody that pays attention to fandoms in general knew that that would be because you can actually go back to like the early 2000s and
Mhm.
see the online chatter about the
Oh yeah.
movies.
I mean,
Um,
I was quite young then, but I remember going on like the onering.net forums and seeing quite a bit of angst over, Frodo isn't 50 years old and
he's ruined
stuff.
it. Like Oh,
So,
everybody wants me to, I'm supposed to end the poll. Hold on, here we go.
oh,
So there is the poll results, which they disappeared, so I don't know where they went. Okay, there it is. So which conventions are you planning on attending? Obviously the majority is none, because unfortunately not everybody can get there, but there's quite a bit of all of the above. So
cool.
that's got to be at least 10 people, 10 or 11 people. Which I'm excited about. That makes me happy. Now I want to take, normally I would do this a little later in the show, but I want to take this moment right now in honor of talking about the Lord of the Rings and White Cloaks, to play you guys a little commercial, something I think that might be adapted and help the Lord of the Rings fandom. So here we go.
Are you someone who hates the Wheel of Time TV show with every part of your being? Do you spend all of your waking moments thinking about how you can get vengeance on those that made a TV show you didn't like? If so, you know how much trouble it can be to constantly be seeking out all of the places people talk about the Wheel of Time TV show on the internet and make shitty comments. You have to spend so much time looking for places to spew your shitty comments that you can't actually think about how god-awful and terrible the show was. What a drag. Introducing the White Cloak Comment Bot. The White Cloak Comment Bot uses a patented algorithm to find and comment automatically in every place on the internet at once, even the places no one fucking asked you. Here's how it works. The bot will create a procedurally generated comment that has randomized answers, so every comment you make will be the same, but different. For example, the bot will start each comment with a randomized number of the word woke. Then it will select a random number between 10 and 76 years that you have been reading the books to establish your credibility, followed by a randomized word choice on why you think the show is woke. Choices are cast is too dark, gay agenda, men bad, women good, and of course, liberal commie bullshit. Lastly, it will choose a random person associated with the production that you can blame for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. The bot will also automatically detect if the content creator that posted something said even one positive thing about the show, and will make sure to let them know they are a sellout shill. Check out these examples.
Woke.
As a book fan who's been reading the books for
44.
years, this piece of shit is just another example of the
Gay agenda.
gone rampant. I blame
Harriet.
for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. He is rolling around in his grave.
When did you sell out, you fucking shill? Enjoy the gravy train while it lasts. Woke. 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 Woke.
As a book fan who's been reading the books for
59.
years, this piece of shit show is just another example of
Liberal commie bullshit.
gone rampant. I blame
Hillary Clinton.
for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. He is rolling around in his grave.
The White Cloak Comment Bot. Because who has time to be an absolute horrible person without help from technology?
Okay, that was really good. It legitimately made me laugh out loud. Holy God. Oh, wow. When Jess kicked in with the AI voice, I just died.
Woke. She has such a good AI voice. So here we go. Nicholas says, can we make a Kickstarter so that ad airs on season 2, episode 1? I would love that. I'm going to make sure I play it, because the reason that's so funny is, like, legitimately, those are the comments that you get. Like, I get those in my comments all the time. First of all, thank you,
It
Nicholas.
really is like there's a script. I'm not really kidding.
It's the same shit every time. It's not even okay. Anyways, thought that was appropriate. In some other news that's coming up, so I wanted to mention this to everybody. I'm not a part of this, but I cannot wait for the Wheel of Time Song Parody Challenge. That's coming up here. Now they extended the date. So for those of you that are not aware, the innkeeper got a new job. And because of his new job, he's now moving. So his whole house, like his life is crazy right now. So that's why you've seen a little less Dusty Wheel, because he's moving. And I also think as a part of that, they pushed back the deadline. So it was supposed to be March 15th was the final time to do the song parody challenge. They have pushed it back to the end of the month, so you have extra time. For those of you who are not aware of what I'm talking about, this year they are doing the second annual. It is a combination of John from What Up, Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern, and the innkeeper, Matt Hatch. They are putting together basically a song parody challenge where it's like karaoke, where people make Wheel of Time song parodies. So I'm going to play, last week I played the winner, which I'll probably play. Actually, I'll play two of these. I'll play parts of two of these just because I think people like them. So this is a clip from the winner, and then I'm going to play another one that I think was one of my favorites. So here's a clip from the winner.
Sanity away. Forgive me, I never meant to peel your fingers off. Ilyena, I'm sorry that I ripped our kids in two and killed your favorite servant. I beat him black and blue. I beat him with my shoe. What?
I mean, I could watch these all night. They're so good.
Good.
Like, so that was the winner last year. I want to play you guys another one that I love from one of my very, very good friends. This one, in my mind, could have also won because it's just amazing and the editing is
There were
incredible.
so many that
They were all really, really,
so
really
good.
good. Well,
I
here's one.
legitimately could not pick.
I couldn't either. It was horrible, but also great. So here we go.
Now this is the story of the Dragon Reborn. A blacksmith, a wisdom, a dude with a horn. You got your dreamer, a gleeman, a warder, Aes Sedai, and a bunch of other people. Couldn't name them if I tried. From Hicksville, Manetheren, these kids were plucked. But if you stick around here, your whole town is fucked. We can't wait another minute, gotta leave before the dawn. So they headed out for safety in the halls of Tarvalon. But they split up the party on a cold day road all night. Then met up again in Camelin and detoured into the Blight. They got in one little fight with some evil dudes who totally killed the Green Man, which was super rude. Now, the gambler's got a dagger, and the dreamer has been leashed, and the wisdom's got a temper, but to the warder she's a treat. And the Aes Sedai is stressed, because these kids all act like fools, but Taviran's got them dancing, so they're breaking all the rules. Now, they're off to save the world, but they really have no clue about the way anything works, and what the hell they're supposed to do, but every challenge they will counter, every mountain they will climb, and I've barely scratched the surface of the Wheel of Time.
So good.
So
Like,
good.
and
Yeah, it was just amazing.
I mean, honestly, it's nuts. I feel
I'm
like
so
I could.
impressed.
You can go. There's an entire playlist. So if you search Wheel of Time song parody, it's on the Dusty Wheel channel. There's like a playlist of all of them from last year if you want to watch them.
Yes.
But there's a new one coming. So like more people are submitting entries to this. It's just awesome. And I've already like I know of some songs that people are writing which are just exciting, and I cannot wait to tune into this again. It was such a fun fan event last year that like
Those are like some of the probably the most fun live streams I've ever been part of. Like it was just so great.
honestly, it's nuts. So I can't wait for Jenny to do another one, assuming she's going to do another one. I can't wait for yeah. Those
I
are
mean,
so
I hope
good.
she's gonna do one covering the whole book series piece by piece, right?
Right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, so I want to also talk a little bit about some of the news that came out 2 weeks ago about Gary Beadle being Elias.
Oh yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
yeah, like because it's been a little bit.
That was so long ago.
So Gary Beadle is going to be playing Elias Manchera, which in one sense is really cool because now we know. I think a lot of people were worried that Elias was totally cut. Right? Like I feel like Elias is one of those characters that's sort of like Bale Doman too. Like um he's not like a major like, oh yeah, he's the big character, but like everybody kind of likes him and wants to see him, right?
Mhm.
So it makes me wonder if we'll get Bale Doman, first of all.
I hope he at least makes just a little cameo. That'd be fine. Something.
Right. I hope so too.
Some pirate in the background yelling about his aged grandmother. Well, not even named, but everyone knows it's him.
What do you think they're going to do with Elias? Do you think that there will be no real major because here's the problem. I mean, let me set the stage for this discussion here. Elias is obviously not going to be introduced when he was in the books because he was introduced or like
That
we've
is
already passed those scenes.
Yeah.
So how do you think he's introduced? Do you think that he is a Shinaran? Do you think that he's combined with Huron? Do you think they run into him on the road? Like
I think that based on I mean, again, this doesn't really confirm anything either way, but the actor Gary Beadle was hanging out quite a bit with other actors that seem to be in the Shinaran group, like what's his face that's playing Masima, and
the 10
hot Masima, yeah,
hot Masima.
come on, and like hanging out, I think a lot with Marcus, and I have a suspicion that he will kind of fill the Huron role as sort of a tracker. I thought if he back, when we didn't know a lot about season 1, I thought that Elias would show up, kind of, teach Perrin, be his mentor, and then die, and then essentially manifest as Hopper in the dream world. Because you don't need Elias. He doesn't do anything. After he teaches Perrin, he's like, "Hey, Perrin, you can talk to wolves. Peace." And like he really doesn't serve a purpose after that. So I don't think it would be shocking at all if we saw him die in season 2.
I agree with that. I wouldn't. He's really just there to advance Perrin's arc. That's really.
And I do actually think it was really smart of them to push back meeting Elias because it's going to give kind of Perrin some more desperation almost, and so he really just needs somebody to tell him what to do and guide him, and so that mentor figure is going to be really extra meaningful for him now.
Yeah, I think that's. I also think that combining him with Huron is smart because the sniffer thing it feels sort of out of place as you move farther into the books because
it does kind of feel like one of those early book things that
like it
really
just kind of goes away. Like okay, you can smell violence. Okay, like so it really does make sense for the sniffer to really be also a wolf brother or something like that. Like I could see that. And if he's not a Shinaran, I could also see him being somebody that shows up during like their quest. So they could go out and they run into him for some reason or whatever.
Right.
Do you think that he'll be a warder?
I don't know. They did spend quite a bit of time last season going into the warder bond and all of that. So I think it would be kind of interesting to continue building on that by keeping that part of his backstory. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's interesting. And I don't know. I could see it.
Well, it's interesting. I'm actually getting more and more, not that I wasn't before, but I'm getting more and more excited for season 2 for a number of reasons. One of which is I feel like there are things they definitely left dangling in season 1 that I think will make us feel better about the story.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you, Rafe like doubled and tripled down in confidence on the La Trepose and Luz Theron dialogue, right? Like he was basically like he made a point to
Like there
say,
was a reason that we did it that way, even if you don't know what it is. Type
yeah,
thing,
that was,
you know.
and it sort of is like, yeah, I acknowledge all of you don't get it, but it was done on purpose and we have a reason. And that makes me wonder, right? Like about some of the things that we question.
Mhm.
If there's going to be, that doesn't mean that I still won't question them and how they were executed. So I just want to be
Right.
clear on that. But
Oh, I'm still mad about Nynaeve in episode 8. That cannot be salvaged for me. I'm sorry.
regardless of whether or not
But
he says she didn't die,
oh, that's fine.
you know, but yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't a fan of that scene, but well, and again, this is another. It's worth bringing up because in that Q&A, he was basically like, "Yeah, and she didn't die. We're sorry that it looked like she did. We didn't mean it to, but that was done because of COVID." And I'm just thinking in my head,
I'm like, what was the alternative that you
right?
couldn't?
Like
That one didn't make sense to me.
it didn't make sense because he was like, "Well, the original thought was to have Egwene use herbs and shit to heal her, but we couldn't do that because of COVID." And I'm just trying to think like, but she's like hugging over
They're
and
still in close proximity,
yeah, I
so
don't.
I mean, again, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of logistics behind the scenes that we don't know about, but yeah, that
Sure.
was a little confusing. Plus, I just don't know if I believe that they really didn't want people to think Nynaeve was dead because it
Right?
was sure as hell shot that way.
Yeah.
Like they're really amping up, oh, she's dead or like on death's door,
Right.
and then the suspense, and then Egwene
I
does
I
Egwene things,
she cries on her and then she comes back to life.
magical tears.
Magical. She's like a phoenix from Harry Potter.
Ah,
Mhm. So it's a crossover.
plot twist.
Egwene is a phoenix. That's my theory. Sticking to it. And you know what? Hey, to that end, Nynaeve was kind of ashes and she rose from the ashes.
Blowing my mind right now.
Am I? Right? Am I? But the fake out deaths, I wasn't like again, it's a little odd still if we think about like Loyal being fake dead. I am thinking this. I am thinking that pot on Fane scene in some way, shape, or form is some type of a dream world thing.
Hmm.
I don't
That'd be
get it. It
interesting.
doesn't make sense totally. But first of all, I'm not sure how Loyal survives being stabbed with the Shadar Logoth dagger. Number one. Number
'Cause he's
two,
loyal.
well, sure. But then that bat, like, what's up with the bat in Perrin randomly wandering empty hallways? And right, you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
what
a
was
little
going on with
weird.
that?
I also think that scene was originally gonna be a matte scene,
Sure.
so maybe that's part of how they tried to tweak it to make it work for Perrin. I don't know.
Well, it does leave me wondering.
That is
It does leave me
interesting.
wondering. So, but yeah, the fake out deaths are what they are. But look, taking all that out of it again, every single non-reader I have talked to, I have yet to talk to a single non-reader who did not love the series or the show. And that's odd. Like I would expect somebody to say, "I wasn't that good," and they aren't. They aren't saying that. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I just hope that, that'll have legs and keep
Mhm.
going that way, because that's the only way the show's gonna succeed is if non-readers get into it, because we cannot carry a show with our fandom.
No, no, I don't think that was ever the case.
No.
But I'll tell you one thing that is kind of cool. Seeing that Eye of the World is back in like the New York Times bestseller list, and like people
Mhm.
are picking up the series again,
Yeah.
and there are new readers out there, which I think is really really cool. You can follow some of them on Twitter. Hey, should I check this out? Should I read this?
Yeah, I keep seeing these tweets popping up like, "Hey, has anyone watched Wheel of Time?" And like Twitter
Right?
Time's like, "Yeah."
Hey, I heard the books were good. Should I read them? Like
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
stuff.
great.
How have I? And then some people are like on Shadow Rising. How have I never heard of these before? And it's kind of like it's the most famous book series that people have never heard of,
It really is. It's yeah, it is again, that fantasy series that was foundational that no one knows about.
right?
No, is of course exaggerating, but yeah, it's really strange how like everyone knows Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're at about that 45-minute mark, which is usually time for shameless promotions. And even though I already did one, I've got two things I want to play for you tonight. I'll do one of them now. This is the new commercial. So this is the brand new, comes out tomorrow, new episode of Tarvalon After Dark, which is my podcast. We do commercials and other comedy bits as well as talk about serious stuff. But here is the commercial for tomorrow in the world premiere for you all to check this out. And again, the podcast will be out tomorrow morning, so you can listen to it on your way to work. So here we go.
Is your murderal skin disgusting enough? Do you miss the dead maggot-like flesh you had in your youth? If you had eyes, would you look in the mirror and be appalled? Introducing Fadebaline, the makeup that will shake up your world. With a wide selection of tones from rotted bone to ancient teeth, you can make your eyeless face as pasty as it used to be. All over Randland, half men like you are discovering Fadebaline.
I used to get a lot of comments on my skin. People told me it didn't look dead and that I looked like a human. It hurt. Then I found Fadebaline. Now my skin looks pale and rotted, like when I was a teenager. At least that's what folks tell me. I wouldn't know.
If your murderal looks are fading, we've got you. Fadebaline. Maybe they're born with it.
Maybe it's Fadebaline.
I'm a big fan of Brian's
I love the
fade
fade
voice.
voice. Yeah,
Right?
that was excellent.
I think we got one more that I'll play for everybody. Everybody loves bedtime stories. And
Oh,
as we
yes.
get a little closer to being later at night and, people getting ready for bed, I thought, this will help calm your
What
nerves.
yeah, what
This
better
will
way to get yourself in the
get
sleepy
into
time
the
mood?
mood. And if you've got kids listening to the show right now, this will be a great way for the kids to go to sleep. So here we go, a new bedtime story for all of you. And now it's time for a bedtime story from Emmons Field. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Billy. Billy lived in a small village in the Two Rivers called Devon Ride with his family. The village was very quiet and not much ever happened there, but Billy didn't mind. He had lots of fun with his friends. One of his friends, named Jack, was his bestest friend in the whole world. Jack and Billy would play in the sheep pen and on the village green and would get into all kinds of trouble and all kinds of fun. They would play with their toys and they always shared because they were the bestest of friends. One day, Jack's dog got him a new toy set of dice. Jack brought them over and showed them to Billy, and they played with them for a long time. But then Jack went home and Billy was sad. He wasn't sad because Jack left, though. He was sad because he loved those dice and Jack got to keep them. He was so jealous of Jack. As he was thinking of being jealous of Jack, a white line opened into a doorway in the middle of his room and a man stepped out. The man had blonde hair and had a big scar running down his face. "Hi there, boy. My name is Samael. I hear you're jealous of your friend." "Yes, mister," said Billy. "Jack has the dice and that makes me so jealous." "Well, it's good that I'm here then, boy. I was also jealous of a friend once and I know how to help." "Oh, how's that, mister?" Billy asked. Just follow me. I'll show you what you do when you're jealous of your friend. Then the man took Billy into the other room and murdered his parents in front of him. Oh no, Master Samael, those were my parents. I wasn't jealous of them. The most important thing to do when you're jealous of someone is turn on everyone you love. Then the man used balefire and murdered half the town until they finally got to Jack's house. Then the man had a murderer torture Jack's parents, and the man used the one power to flay Jack alive. Don't you feel better now? The man said. You can have the dice to yourself and live happily ever after. The boy cried very loud because everybody he knew was dead now. Then Samael got tired of listening to him and burned him from the pattern. The end.
Wow, that was abrupt.
Mm. Well, you know what? It teaches
Right.
you, I think, a real lesson here, and that is don't be jealous, kids. Like, jealousy's bad.
Or just alternatively,
Hmm.
don't live in a world that has Forsaken in it, zapping people left and right. But
Well,
you know.
look. You know what? I think that Jack, if I'm going to pick apart this story here, I think Jack deserved to be flayed alive. How dare you? How dare you? The audacity to bring the dice over and then take them home with you. I mean,
The audacity.
mm,
That little shit.
the audacity there. I mean, so anyways, okay. So not much news, and I guess this is the other. Let's talk about this a little bit. The lack of news. Do you think that's news in of itself? Like in the sense that, like, is there some reason why are they locking things down tighter now than they did a year ago? Are they? Because it felt like like in the past we were getting new stuff like 2 or 3 times a week, right?
Yeah, I think it's partly. I think a big reason is that they did just kind of lock stuff down tighter in general during season 2.
Mhm.
I believe that some of the crew that were involved in season 1 that may have been fruitful sources of information were no longer involved in season 2. I have no idea if that has anything to do with it or not. They seem to be working on other projects, so that's probably why. But anyway, that was one thing. And then just second of all, I think even though we did get a lot less information in the latter part of filming season 1, we already knew so much that it was a lot easier to kind of interpret the little bits that we did get. Whereas now we just the whole time we have had so little that we don't really have any big thing we can plug in the tidbits into and say, oh, that probably fits here. You know, I mean, Geeky Ari did those great breakdowns for the block filming in season 1. And like she's just been like, I can't do that caliber of thing for season 2 because we just don't know that much.
Right. Like it does feel like a bit major absence of leakage, if you will, in terms of stuff coming out about
That's
plot.
disgusting.
There's so much less leakage, Sarah.
Okay. Anyway.
Is leakage one of those words that makes people cringe?
It is now.
Like, do you chalk that up there? Is that on the same level as moist?
Moist. I don't know. Let chat decide on that one. Do a poll. Do a poll. Oh God.
See, people are like, what about the nice wholesome polls on the Dusty Wheel?
Yeah, come
That's
here
what
for
happens when you
your
come here.
trash fire polls.
What's another good word that would go on here between moist, leakage?
It's not a real word, but I hate it when people say prego instead of pregnant.
Okay, there we go. We got 3
we're putting
choices.
up things that we hate.
We got 3 choices. Wow, we have some you're making it when you got porn spam in your live stream.
I know. They finally showed up. I was wondering if they would.
It's disappointing.
There they are.
I did. I said moist and leakage, and then we got bots.
And the porn bot was like, yes.
Hell yeah.
You called.
Okay. What else did I have for us to do? That was really it. So, what do you expect that we'll get? Like, do you think they're going to be releasing? Because Rafe did tell everybody that they're going to be dropping a bunch of stuff, right? Like, there's
Between season 1 and season 2, yeah. And I don't know what that means, but I'm very interested. So,
well, I'll tell you another thing, and I gotta say, I want to talk about two subjects here real quick on that note. So, first of all, have you watched Vox Machina?
I have not.
So good.
I need to. I have not really gotten into Critical Role much at all, which
Yeah.
I know I should because I'm sure it's great. But yeah, do I need to have that background to watch it, or can I
No,
just
no,
watch it?
you don't. You don't
Okay.
need it at all. So
Okay.
here's what it got me thinking, though. Here's the relation to Wheel of Time. I used to be of the opinion that I would never want to see Wheel of Time as an animated series,
Same.
but I am 100% in favor of an animated at some point in time. I'm not saying now to replace the show. I'm not saying that. But I would love to see an animated Wheel of Time.
Yeah. When I watched Arcane, and the animation in that was just so beautiful.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the first time I thought, you know what? I would love this for Wheel of Time. And I was always in that firmly, ugh, no anime for Wheel of Time
Right?
camp. But now I think that these are becoming more mainstream. It could actually work. So yeah, I mean, maybe something more like those little couple minute not behind the scenes, the animated shorts that they did. Something kind of more along those lines. Maybe they could have
Yeah.
beefed up more into an actual mini series or something. That'd be super cool.
Well, first of all, I wish they were longer, and I wish
I loved those. So honestly, I want to say that I almost liked them better than the actual show.
they were so good.
I just loved the art. It was just so like this kind of perfect like mystical quality, but like
Mhm.
not editors. It was just they're really good. So I
Well, I'll
want
tell
more.
you. Oh, I'll be yawning all of a sudden. I did. So there's a video. I already mentioned this. I have a video that will probably come out tomorrow, but it might come out Wednesday if I can't finish some of it. But I did the story of Arthur Hawkwing, which is like a 20-minute video. It's all animated. It's really cool looking. And as I'm looking at it, I'm even like, this would be a great story. Like the story of
Yeah,
Arthur Hawkwing's rise and
that could
fall.
be
And
a whole little mini series. Yeah.
there's drama in it. There's backstabbing. There's poisoning. There's like politics. There's like that in of itself could be a great story. And it was like the background story for the Wheel of Time.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if they like started doing a little animated mini series between every season. I mean, that would be super
Mhm.
cool.
It would be awesome. So there's
Come
that.
on, Amazon,
Everybody.
hire me.
So here's the other thing we need to mention before we go. Everybody keeps wanting me to talk about Sanderson's Kickstarter, which here are my comments on the Kickstarter. I love it. I talked about this on our podcast. Brandon is changing publishing, and it's really cool to watch. And I think there's a much bigger discussion at play here to me of how opened up content has become, and what a cool, like, now that you have a platform. Actually, Brandon is already famous. So let me give a less
Yes.
another example. Let's talk about Daniel Green, self-publishing his books. Daniel was able to have the success that he did with his 2 books. And by the way, everybody should check out Daniel Green's books. But he was able to have that success because he had an established audience already. And so much of content creation anymore is a little democratized because, like, if you have the platform to get your message out there, you don't have to give away half your or 3 or 90% of your money to a publisher anymore. And
Right.
to see that I think the Kickstarter right now for Sanderson is over like 25 million.
Was it that high? Last I checked, it was like 23, but it's
I think it's over
probably
25 million now, which is
Jeez,
just nuts.
it's
And
crazy.
for those that are not aware, Brandon, who is a crazy person, and wrote like literally a crazy person.
Like, are we sure he's not actually 3 Brandon Sandersons in a trench
Right?
coat?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. But he wrote 5. He basically wrote 5 extra books, 4 of which he's going to publish, and 1 is going to become a graphic novel. These were on top of his other books that he's contractually set up through Tor to do, which is nuts. Again, I just want to come back to that. That's crazy. And then he basically released the Kickstarter, which you can go check out. And I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he writes that much. His whole YouTube channel and connection, Brandon does such a good job of connecting with his fans that I think that plays a big role in it. I don't think he's going to be at JordanCon this year. He goes every other year, and I think this is his year off. He was there last year. Am I right on that?
I want to say it might actually be every 3 years now. It used to be every other year. But anyway, at least every 2 years.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be there this year, though. But
No.
like last year, he crashed the Dusty Wheel. He was signing books, and he was there to talk to, and like, very cool guy. I always love his takes on things. But anyways, it's just really, really interesting to me that that I think it took off more than Brandon thought it would. I don't know if you think that's fair to say. Like, I don't think
for
he
sure.
had,
I don't think he had any concept it would get this big. Like, again,
Right.
the original goal was what, $1 million? Like,
right, 1 million, and he's
just
at
to make it
25.
feasible, and then it just went crazy.
Well, and then they've got 23 days left on the Kickstarter. What's he going to get to 100? Is he going to become 100 millionaire overnight? Like,
I don't know, man. But it's crazy.
Stupid. It's just stupid. Like, if you really think about that, and like that money goes to him now.
It's nuts.
Now,
Well,
obviously, he's
of
got to
course,
publish.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's
He's
got
going to
to.
use it to pay all of his staff and,
But-
print all the books. But yeah,
It goes to his
instead
business
of
now.
going to Tor or whoever the publisher is, it's going to an entity that he controls.
Well, and I'm going to throw this out there. I've seen a couple people, and I want to make my point of view very clear on this. I've seen some people criticize him for making too much money on it. And you know what? You're an idiot if you think that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, those people can go kick rocks. It's just
Like-
jealousy. I'm
Like,
like, look, it's got to sting if you're, an author that's struggling because you don't have the reach that he does. Like, I get that, but you can't blame the guy for being so good at what he does that he's built up this loyal fan base that will
well,
throw money at him for a Kickstarter because they know that he will put out good work.
and he put in the time to get there.
Right.
Like, he worked for it. He didn't hurt anybody to get there.
All
he
3
didn't.
of himself in that trench coat.
It's nuts. Honestly, I just don't understand that when people like vilify people for success or creating something that people want. Like,
Also, this weird concept of like, he's taking money from other artists. What?
how?
Like, you can't purchase multiple books at once. That doesn't make any sense.
Isn't that what all buying books is?
Right. So when I buy your book, random author, am I taking money from another artist because I didn't buy their book? That's just stupid.
It's just not the way things work. So I'm all about that. Real quick, I got to end the poll. What is the worst word? Here we go. I think I'm actually shocked at this answer. I really am. I'm shocked at this answer. Wait for this to show up in the chat. It's compiling all the votes. There were millions of votes here. Which word is the worst?
Yay!
Prego.
It's my word.
I thought my money would have been on moist for being the worst word, but no, it was dead last.
Thank you, chat, for validating my hatred of this word.
Of the word prego.
Yes.
What about if I buy prego spaghetti sauce? Like, does that?
Well, that's just disgusting because that sauce is trash. So that's just bad in a different way.
So either way, bad.
Either way, no good.
All right, everybody. I think we are going to call it a night here on the Darkfriend Social. I typically try to keep it to an hour. Look for a new lore video, possibly 2 lore videos this week. If you like those, be awesome. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to the video. And check out watseries.com. Make sure you follow them for all the news about the show. Follow thegreatblight.com for some great opinion articles. We've now got a couple different new writers on the website, which is a lot of fun. So make sure you check those out. And if you want, we will be in Discord after this, chatting for a little bit. So if you want to hop in the Discord server, that's where we will be. If you don't know how to get into Discord, just click the link in the description of the video and join us there. I am shocked, though. I got to say one thing, Sarah. This is the very first live stream in a long time I have not done something.
You are right.
There has not been one wig in this live stream.
Well,
not one.
They gave all their money to Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter.
They did, actually. They did.
They can't buy the wig.
So nobody's you know what? I'm so jealous. How dare Brandon Sanderson make money?
He's stealing money from
me.
Wig enthusiasts. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, so dumb. What a dumb show I run. Okay. Well, everybody, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you in Discord if you want to join us, and we'll be back here next week every Monday night at 9 p.m. for the Darkfriend Social. Thank you. Take care, or I guess smash the black or something. Bye.